Good morning. Today, what we're going to do is have some coffee out on the back porch and make a spring herb infused vinegar. So, you may have heard in the fall, everyone talks about making fire cider. It's a spicy, sweet vinegar infused with all sorts of great things. Well, I decided to make a spring vinegar, which I learned about with Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine. I think they call it like fairy flutter vinegar or something like that. I am not the first to think of this idea, but decided I was going to make a springtime vinegar, sort of a spring tonic with things that are up and about right now. This is also a version of what I have heard called place-based medicine. Place-based medicine would be gathering up from right around you and thinking that that would make a good tonic. So, what we have here is chickweed that I gathered the other day. I let these sit out for 2 days so that some of the water would evaporate. They don't have to be completely dried, but you don't want to introduce too much water into your vinegar. This is oregano that I actually did put in the dehydrator. So I have dried oregano. I have violet flowers here. I have mint, lovage. This is lovage. Tastes like a very strong celery. Plantain, lemon balm. I went out and grabbed a few dandelion leaves today. This is cleavers, now that it has wilted a bit. We're going to put some of that in there. And I had gathered these the other day. These are fennel fronds. Fennel fronds. These are fennel fronds. So all I'm going to do is cut these roughly. I have a 1 gallon. This is my cider making jar. A fire cider making jar. I have my cup of coffee here. Yes. Cue some creative music. We're going to add our dandelion leaves. A good handful of lemon balm. A nice handful of plantain. Yeah. Spearmint. Lovage. Chickweed. How pretty is that? Doesn't that look pretty? Oh my god, it looks so pretty. I know it's not going to look this pretty once it's sat for 6 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. But for now, it looks so amazing. Put some more mint. I am not packing this very tightly. This is folk medicine at its finest. I'm just eyeballing it, putting in, you know, enough. What is enough? When I feel like it's enough, that's enough. So as you can see, it can be as much or as little of what you want. And the idea is that these are the first herbs of spring. And they are uniquely suited toward revving up your digestion and getting things going after what would have been a sluggish winter where we were just eating maybe frozen roots and things that had been in either a root cellar or had been preserved by means of salting or curing or dried. So next we're going to cover this. We're going to pour it full of apple cider vinegar, and then we'll just put the top on and let it sit. I have to say that I have come a long way because, you know, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you would not have been able to tell me that I would have gone out in my yard, gathered up a whole bunch of stuff, poured apple cider vinegar over it, let it sit for a few weeks, and I'm like, yes. So, even when I first started Herbalism, I remember being a little squeamy, I will be honest, about actually digging stuff up out of my yard and eating it or using it for medicine. I was kind of more comfortable with the dried herbs when I would order them. But you know, things just take time and you get used to stuff and it becomes no biggie. So now, this is how I roll. Oops. With my weeds, my homies, my plant allies. Look at that. And there we have a glorious blend. So I'm gonna put this top on. The top that came with this is a plastic top. Now, if you don't have a plastic top and for some reason you have a metal top, you're gonna wanna put wax paper between the vinegar and the lid because vinegar will eat away at that metal. Since I have a plastic lid, just gonna put the top on that. There she is. There she is. This is a spring infused vinegar. Place-based medicine means use what you got. Use what's on hand right around you. Connect to the healing properties of the land that is around you. Again, you only want to forage in places that have not been contaminated by pollutants, pesticides, herbicides, industrial chemicals, lead, or asbestos. So this is a good excuse to make a relationship with your local urban farm if you have not had your backyard soil tested. So there we go. I'm going to do a blog post to go into a little more detail about the herbs that I used and to talk about why vinegar is such a good solvent in many cases, why you might want to use vinegar. And if you have vinegar, apple cider vinegar, in your daily health regimen, a lot of people take a shot a day and have been using it for different cleanses. Well, I urge you to ask yourself, could it be improved nutritionally by adding some fresh herbs, therapeutic herbs to it that will boost your immune system health and can help in a lot of other ways? So we don't have to have plain apple cider vinegar, right? So that's it for today. Word to the mother.